Okay. Thank you for coming. My name is Len Fasano, and I'm here with respect to an issue that took place recently with an award of $16.8 million to four men released for a wrongful conviction of the murder of Jason Smith. There was prosecutorial misconduct that resulted in the Supreme Court on appeal sending the matter back to square one, and it was decision of the prosecutors at the time not to go forward in the case. Subsequently, as a result of a bill that we passed in 2008, the claims commissioner, after a claim was made, the claims commissioner indicated that they were entitled to the money. His position of myself and many people in this building, as well as the Attorney General's office, that is a wrong conclusion, because the bill of 2008 requires, by preponderance of evidence, a finding of innocence, not simply a item which requires a retrying of the case. Those are two separate issues, and I think the legislature was very emphatic when it wrote the legislation that there have to be a preponderance of evidence of guilt, of innocence rather. Now, the law seemed to be a little bit ambiguous. When the law was put out by judiciary in 2008, it indicated that this type of award would go through the Judiciary Committee and then through the Senate or House and Senate, and before it could be finalized. There was a line in the bill that puts ambiguity, which says the claims commissioner can write out the check for the award. That ambiguity is what led this claims commissioner not to go through that procedure and write out the check. What we're trying to do here, and the family is behind us, and I'll introduce them in a moment, is to have judiciary, who I know is concerned about this, it's come under the radar screen, to make it clear on two issues. One issue is that such a claim cannot be awarded until it has gone through the process for judiciary to weigh in, therefore the victim's family can weigh in, and then through the normal legislative process of House and Senate. The second issue I don't think needs any clarification whatsoever, which is the evidence of innocence before you can award the money. However, if that has to be strengthened, we will do so, although I believe it's plain on its face. I believe the Attorney General believes it's plain on its face. So with that, I have with me Robin Nelson, who is the mother of Jason Smith, Ramona Holloway, who is the aunt, Bernadette Barbaro, Marcus Burgess, and Dwayne Clark. And I'm going to ask Robin Nelson to come forward and say a few words. Robin.
I feel that it's so wrong for somebody to be guilty and get paid for killing someone. I feel it's so wrong. They didn't even ask me, what do I feel about it? But long as this don't happen again, I wouldn't want to see this happen to anybody else's family. I don't want
to. Obviously, and rightly so, they have not had the opportunity to ever speak about this in this building, and it hurts. I'm going to ask Bernadette if she would mind coming up and maybe talking a little bit more about this issue. I also failed, and I apologize, to introduce Senator Kissel, ranking member on judiciary. I would also say we had a meeting, we had some traffic issues, but we were meeting with the members of judiciary, Senator Coleman, Representative Rabimbis, and Representative Tong. After this meeting, we were supposed to before, but we ran into some timing problems, so the family could have a one-on-one with the chairs and ranking members of that committee. But first I could ask Bernadette to come up and speak.
Hi, my name is Bernadette Barbour, and I'm friends with Robin. We've been friends for 50 years, and her son, I was there when he was born. And we just feel as the family that it's so unfair for our law to let us down and actually award these guys that we know, and even they know that these guys killed her son, and now they're being awarded millions of dollars. It's just so unfair. But where does that leave us? It leaves us where we're just feeling like we just received a smack in the face, actually a punch in the gut, because it's just, I mean, there's no words for it. How do you award these guys that we know, the law knows that they killed their son? And because the law failed, the law wasn't clear. But what is clear is that you have to be proven innocent before you can, that you spent all that time in prison and you were innocent. They were never proven innocent. And because I don't know what kind of favor they had, or, I mean, it's just unfair. And the pain that we're feeling, there's no words to describe it, because we already have to deal with the death, and then we're dealing with watching these guys that live in the same town as we live in be awarded like this for the death. It's just unfair, and we would like to see the law more clear and the law change to where this would never happen again to another family. And so that's why we're speaking out, and that's why we're trying to see that justice is done from this point on in cases like this. Thank you.
Thank you. I just ask Senator Kissel to say a few words.
First of all, the family of the victim has my condolences. The law's got to be fixed. Some real big problems here. First of all, if there's a claim against the state of Connecticut for $1,500, that gets before us in the Senate and the House after the claims commissioner makes a decision. And we typically will either affirm, turn it upside down, deny it, or send it back for a new adjudication. How in the world this law got to this point is beyond me. First of all, go to any criminal court in the state of Connecticut right now. Because a state's attorney decides not to prosecute for whatever reason does not automatically mean the accused of the criminal charge is innocent. If we're going to be awarding individuals because they were incarcerated any kind of money when we are facing the kind of huge deficits that we are, we need to make sure the letter and the spirit of the law is followed, and I don't believe it was in this case. These individuals are absolutely correct. To have the claims commissioner unilaterally issue an award for millions of dollars goes beyond the pale. Senator Fasano was exactly correct. The law seems to be very clear that preponderance of the evidence regarding innocence does not necessarily equate with state's attorneys not going to prosecute. And so in that instance, we feel claims commissioner failed. We need a process where it comes before us, the House and the Senate. If we do that with the most modest of claims in the state of Connecticut, we need to do that here. And the last point I want to underline, and so important for these people, we have a constitutional protection for victims. These people are the victims behind me. Were they brought in? Were their views made known? Did they have a voice in this process? I don't believe so. So we really owe it to the people of the state of Connecticut to address this and to address it now. And if we don't, this will have far-reaching impacts on any state's attorney in any case that decides not to move forward, because they will not want to see injustice happen down the road. So to the extent we do not address this, we are creating more problems down the road throughout our criminal justice system. So, to the folks behind me, my heart goes out to them so much. And to Senator Fasano, I want to applaud him for his incredible leadership regarding this issue. Thank you.
With that, I'll conclude, and if there are any questions,